Right now on News Channel 12 at 5, it's Election Day in California. Governor Newsom hoping to hang on to his job in the face of a recall. We're live from the county elections office with just a few hours of voting left. Voters in Lompoc have another issue to consider, changing the way cannabis businesses are taxed to bring more revenue into the city. And what you need to know about thefts happening around the Santa Maria area to keep yourself and your property protected. News Channel 12 at 5 starts right now.
Live from your home team, News Channel 12 at 5 starts right now.
We can't allow the economy, not just our public health, to be impacted by a wrong decision tonight at 8 o'clock.
It's Election Day in California, and voters are deciding whether to recall Governor Gavin Newsom. We have full team coverage right now at 5. Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Scott Hennessy. Well, tonight is the night. Voters across California have 3 hours until polls close in the gubernatorial recall election. The last time we had one of these was in 2003 when Arnold Schwarzenegger stepped in for Gray Davis. News Channel 12's Tracy Lair live at County Elections Office.
That's right. I'm outside the elections office, and it has been very busy, and they know it's going to get even busier at 5 o'clock when many people get off work. We've had poll workers, and we've seen the election workers working as traffic controllers. They've been helping people who want to drive up and drop their ballot off. They've been directing people inside if they want to vote live. They call it a live ballot. You can trade in your mail-in ballot to get a live ballot. You can also come in and they will stamp it with the date and put it in the official ballot box that's right here at the elections office. And the registrar of voters says the turnout is looking brisk. He says this is an unusual election. It's only the second gubernatorial recall in California and the fourth nationwide. And they have more than 50 polling places in this county alone, and they are open until 8 tonight. And he believes that we'll see about 90,000 of the county vote results right at 8 o'clock. And so, but you'll still have to go and look at the Secretary of State's to get the full picture. I'm back out here live. There are a lot of people parking and going to the official drop box. Other people wish to walk in. And there's even someone here who is voluntarily with a group just watching what's going on, just wanting to be a concerned citizen. And we will hear from the Registrar of Voters, Joe Holland, tonight at 6. Reporting live in Santa Barbara County, I'm News Channel reporter Tracy Lair.
Tracy, thank you very much. Millions of ballots have already been cast in the recall election. It's costing more than $200 million as 46 challengers hope to unseat Newsom. California voters are heading to the polls to decide whether or not to replace Governor Gavin Newsom.
Hands down, he's just going to remain in office?
I sure hope so. I don't feel like California is going the direction that it should be going.
Governor Newsom hit the campaign trail with President Biden the night before the election. The recall initiated in response to the governor's policies on homelessness and taxes, and then heated up after Newsom's strict COVID-19 policies.
We can't allow the economy, not just our public health, to be impacted by a wrong decision tonight at 8 o'clock.
But he faces 46 challengers, including Caitlyn Jenner, who cast her ballot this morning.
If Gavin Newsom gets back in and he stays in, I personally feel that's kind of the end of the state.
Radio host Larry Elder is the frontrunner among the replacement candidates.
Businesses are leaving at record rates. More businesses have left so far this year than have left all of last year.
Under recall rules, a majority of voters must vote yes to oust Governor Newsom. If that happens, the top vote getter among challengers will become governor. With more than 8 million mail-in ballots already cast in this election, Republicans have already begun to raise questions over voter fraud. Former President Trump said in a statement today, with no evidence, the recall election is, quote, totally rigged. Larry Elder has launched a website encouraging his supporters to report allegations. While most people are only voting on the recall, voters in Lompoc are answering another question on cannabis. News Channel 12's Karen Cruz Orduña is live at a polling place to explain.
Scott, voters here in the city of Lompoc are actually deciding on whether to increase cannabis taxes or not. And the city says Measure Q would raise taxes on marijuana manufacturing and distribution if it's approved. It would also make various changes to cannabis tax regulation. The mayor says the increase would bring in an estimate of $1.1 $1.2 million for the city annually. Lompoc leaders would use that money for parks, streets, fire and police departments, and more. Some residents have mixed reaction toward Measure Q.
I'd vote no because the taxes would go higher.
I think it's a good idea as long as it does go to the parks.
Currently, dispensaries that make under $2 million pay a $15,000 flat fee. Any cannabis business getting revenue over $2 million pay a $30,000 flat fee as well. You can vote now until 8 p.m. But for now, live in Lompoc, I am Karen Cruz Orduña, News Channel 12.
And Lompoc has more cannabis dispensaries than any other local city. 54 cannabis use licenses in Lompoc have been approved. Karen, we thank you for that. Today's recall election comes during a time of transition in San Luis Obispo County. It's the first vote since longtime elections official Tommy Gong left the office 2 months ago. With 185,000 registered voters, that represents nearly a 50% turnout even before Election Day. As mentioned, there's new leadership right now in the elections office. After last November's presidential election, which had record high turnout, Tommy Gong, who was the county clerk recorder, faced intense criticism by some in the county over his handling of the vote, even enduring a racial slur during a May supervisors meeting. Gong left for the Bay Area soon after, departing just weeks before today's recall election. Deputy Director Helen Nolan was tapped to fill in the vacant position on an acting basis until an official interim appointee is named. Nolan, who is a candidate for the job, wants voters to have complete faith in today's election.
Our office is nonpartisan. We operate and we conduct elections in the most fair, honest, secure, safe, transparent way we possibly can.
Nolan adds if anyone from the public feels otherwise, they're invited to come to the County Government Center and watch the in-person count for themselves. Our coverage of the recall election continues on air and online. We will have live team coverage throughout the evening. We'll also start posting results on our mobile app and website just as soon as they're released. The first batch expected around 8:05 tonight. Just head over to nc12hometeam.com and click on the Your Vote tab. Nice night out there. Let's get the weather now. Julie is in the First Alert Weather Center.
It definitely is a mild evening to cast that ballot. So as we take a look at our forecast, a live view right now out towards Tepisque, a lot of sunshine, and then we're just seeing that marine layer beginning to form, pushing a little closer to the coastline. Temperature-wise, you may need that jacket if you are closer to the coastline as our temperatures are declining. Right now, Santa Maria, you're looking at 67 degrees, mostly sunny skies. We're at 68 in Pismo Beach, 65 for Lompoc. If you are in San Luis Obispo, you're looking at 72 degrees, and those inland areas are now in the 80s to the 90s. Paso checking in at 83 degrees. So when we compare the temperatures for the last 24 hours, you are seeing that major difference, cooling down by 13 degrees, and it's really applying to those interior valleys. Closer to the coastline, it's been a very persistent marine layer, and for that reason, we see little to no change at all. Now for tonight, as mentioned, the marine layer is just off of the coastline, not here for our local area, so we're still in the clear, heading out to cast that ballot. Here's a look as to what you can expect. Our temperatures are going to be dropping down into the lower 60s as we head towards 7 p.m. Still staying in the clear, but we're going to be watching that marine layer as it forms overnight, and we could be waking up to that dense fog by tomorrow, leading to further cooling. So more details on your forecast coming up shortly. Scott, sending it back to you.
In tonight's News Channel 12 Eye on Crime, more shopping centers and businesses are opening here in Santa Maria, but it turns out that's making it easier for criminals to get away with your belongings. News Channel 12 reporter Patricia Martellotti shares some of the trends that officers are seeing.
It's every business owner's nightmare.
The break-in, when someone breaches your store, which is your livelihood and your private property, it's always a major event and an upsetting event.
Scott Clark owns Main Street Cycles. He's all too familiar with theft crimes happening during the pandemic.
Having the same perpetrator break in the same way, caught the same night, within 10 days.
Santa Maria police officers say theft crimes have kept them busy since COVID hit.
Any large parking lot with businesses around it is a potential target for thieves.
Another type of theft crime is also causing problems across the city. Just a few weeks ago, someone ripped one out of my Toyota Prius, costing me some $3,700 to replace.
Would take anywhere at least 2 catalytic converter thefts a week.
To protect your car, officers recommend parking inside a garage if possible or in a well-lit area. And then Officers say businesses along Broadway Street is another major target.
There are several shopping centers directly off of Broadway, and there's an ease of escape.
Police encourage shoppers to use common sense, lock your car doors, put valuable items in the trunk. Back at Main Street Cycles, Scott Clark is getting proactive to protect his store.
We've put grid inside. What we've seen over the last year is I've had in total more break-ins than I've had the previous 30-some years.
In Santa Maria, Patricia Martellotti, News Channel 12.
There's been a slow increase in the number of people receiving the COVID-19 vaccination at a time when Santa Barbara County officials are calling on the public to get the shot and reduce the ongoing spread. News Channel 12's John Palmentary has more on the pandemic and a special focus in northern Santa Barbara County.
For those hoping to return to normal after months of the pandemic, the roadmap to the end game remains uncertain. Santa Barbara County supervisors were hoping to have 80% of the population with a COVID-19 vaccination before summer. They are closer, but not there yet. The latest numbers show 66.6% of the eligible Santa Barbara County residents are fully vaccinated.
And I went to the dashboard, and 75.1% of people now have taken at least one shot. I wasn't sure we were ever going to get to that 75, but at least that tells you that 75% of the people believe in the vaccine, that they're willing to go take a shot.
The outreach has been mainly in northern Santa Barbara County, in communities including parts of Santa Maria, Guadalupe, Sisquoc, Gary, Orchid, Vandenberg Village, and Casmelia. Santa Barbara County supervisors have also been told the number of new cases is no longer spiking, and the number of intensive care unit beds in use at area hospitals has gone down. The latest numbers show the most new cases are in ages 64 years old and younger. What's still to be seen is if the return of in-person school, along with social activities and the upcoming holidays, will have any bearing on the day-to-day COVID numbers. In Santa Barbara, John Palmentary, News Channel 12.
San Luis Obispo County reports 7 new COVID-19 deaths. That's since the last update on Friday. The people who died ranged from their 50s to their 90s. 301 people have died since the pandemic started of COVID-19. There were also 303 new COVID cases reported since Friday. 41 people are hospitalized, 15 of them in intensive care. Do you or someone you know need help with suicidal thoughts? September is National Suicide Prevention Month. Today, a suicide survivor teamed up with the Santa Barbara Police Department to remind those in the community to ask for help. She said she was in a dark place and didn't think she mattered, but learned all she needed was some help. That's why she stopped by the SBPD headquarters to meet with officers and encourage others to ask for the help they need. The Santa Barbara Police Department teams up with Santa Barbara County mental health experts to help those in need. Meanwhile, Santa Barbara County Public Health is doing an anonymous survey to see how they can offer better mental health services. If you or someone you know needs help, call the number on your screen, 888-868-1649. That's Santa Barbara County's 24-hour suicide help hotline. You can also visit our mobile app or website for more information, including a link to the survey. Straight ahead here on News Channel 12 at 5. Secretary of State Antony Blinken back in the hot seat. More tough questions from lawmakers about the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. Plus, Tropical Storm Nicholas brings flood threats as it moves through southeast Texas. The damage left behind after it slammed the region as a Category 1 hurricane.
Live, Scott Hennessy and Julia Espinoza weather. Your home team is News Channel 12.
Continuing coverage of our top story tonight. Today is California's recall election day. Voters are deciding if they want Governor Gavin Newsom to stay in office. You are taking a live look at the Santa Barbara County Elections Office, where people can vote in person at those voting booths if they surrender their mail-in ballot. A ballot was mailed to all 22+ million registered voters in California. At the beginning of this shot, you saw the parking lot where the ballot drop box is. People driving through and dropping off their mail-in ballots as well. You have until 8 o'clock tonight to get your vote in. Secretary of State Antony Blinken spent more than 3.5 hours on the hot seat defending the Biden administration's withdrawal from Afghanistan. Skylar Henry has the highlights from Capitol Hill.
Senators arrived on Capitol Hill prepared to grill Secretary of State Antony Blinken about the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan.
I would like to hear the truth as opposed to the kind of excuses we've been getting from this administration. It's been disgraceful.
Most senators, though not all, agreed with the decision to withdraw, but they disagreed with how it was done.
Doing the right thing in the wrong way can end up being the wrong thing.
Many of the questions focused on the 100 or so Americans and thousands of Afghan allies who haven't made it out.
I'd like to focus more on the moral stain of leaving people behind.
Abandoning essential honor and moral imperative by failing to do more to evacuate American citizens and Afghan allies.
Secretary Blinken said consular officers are in constant contact with the Americans still in Afghanistan, and he said the government did what it could to get everyone out.
Our consular team worked 24/7 to reach out to Americans who could still be in country, making 55,000 phone calls, sending 33,000 emails by August 31st. And they're still at it.
Lawmakers on both sides also disagreed with Secretary Blinken's comment that the Afghan government fell much quicker than anticipated.
Even the most pessimistic assessments did not predict that the government forces in Kabul would collapse while U.S. forces remained.
I just don't think that's true. This wasn't a failure of intelligence. This was a failure of policy and planning.
And some question whether America is in more danger of a terrorist attack after leaving Afghanistan. Skyler Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
We have an update for you now on the cause of the Caballo fire that broke out on Labor Day in the Santa Ynez Valley and burned about 70 acres. Santa Barbara County Fire says a propane torch sparked that fire. Investigators say the torch was being used to remove weeds and other plants without a permit. The fire department requires people to get a permit when operating any sort of torch or open flame in a wildfire risk area. Tropical storm Nicholas is moving very slowly over southeastern Texas and the Louisiana coast. It made landfall as a Category 1 hurricane last night, packing powerful wind gusts of up to 75 miles per hour. The storm is still dumping significant amounts of rain. More than 100,000 homes and businesses in the region are without power. Forecasters say life-threatening flash floods are a big concern in the region right now. The storm is now headed for Louisiana, where thousands are still struggling to recover from Hurricane Ida. And Julia has the live storm tracker up, taking a look at that activity right now, Julia.
Yeah, the storm is significant, and I've been watching this live storm tracker, putting it on replay. As you can see, this beginning at 9:15 in the morning on Tuesday, and it's at that border of Texas, trying to push, continuing out towards Louisiana. But as I push play, you can see that rainfall really not moving anywhere. It has just been buckets and buckets on top of that activity. We are going to be seeing a lot of flooding out there. There are several advisories, and it's not looking good. As we go into tonight, they could additionally add anywhere between 5 to 10 inches of rain to those areas that are under this blue bubble, so it continues out towards Lake Charles. Now, the storm has become much more widespread. Although it is moving at a very slow pace, as you can see, it's still at the border. It has pushed out more towards Mississippi and Alabama, and for them, it's going to continue to bring in that heavy rainfall and those strong winds. Now, closer to the west coast, we are looking pretty quiet, and what we're watching closer to home is just that marine layer that's really impacting our forecast from night into morning. So going into tonight, we do have another marine layer really pushing on in, becoming a little bit more widespread out towards those interior valleys. And this time around, we are seeing more cities than not under that dense fog. So going into tonight at 11 p.m., anything that falls under a 1 is going to be bringing you that poor visibility, really impactful for your nighttime commute and even into the morning. And you can see this activity really not changing much as we go towards those overnight hours into tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. As you drive those kids to school, it is surrounding Morro Bay and all the way down towards the south coast. So we're going to be struggling to clear away from this activity. Looks like by late morning we eliminate those troubles when it comes to the driving, but it is going to be just lingering alongside our coastline before we get to perfect clearing, such as those interior valleys. So what's happening is that we do have a couple of weak troughs right above us over the Pacific Northwest. It's keeping our onshore flow nice and strong, and it is leading to further cooling as we go towards your Wednesday, and then one more time into Thursday, we're going to be dropping down further degrees. Now by Thursday, the marine layer gets even stronger, where we could be seeing the potential for some drizzle, and it is going to become much more overcast, looking at difficulty clearing when we go towards the later later half of the week. Now by your Friday, that's where we start to see even bigger changes once more. We have this very weak system moving on in from the southwest of our state, and by this reason it is going to allow for onshore flow to weaken as it pushes on in, and by then it's going to allow for better clearing, and as an effect we start to see slightly warmer temperatures heading towards the weekend. So flipping just a bit as we go towards your Saturday and Sunday. For now, the only advisory that we have to talk about are the beach hazards right along the central coast of San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara County. Elevated surf running anywhere between 6 to 9 inches. So something to keep in mind if you're heading out there, although it is feeling quite chilly the closer you are towards the coast. So a jacket wouldn't hurt. You are looking at about 69 degrees in Vandenberg. Out towards tomorrow, Santa Maria, you're going to be in the lower 70s once more. Orchid looking at 73 degrees. And for Guadalupe, we're just dropping by a degree at about 67. And near the coastline, it is very insignificant. The reason being is that we've just been dealing with that marine layer day through day. For those interior valleys, it is quite the difference. So Paso, we're dropping down to 88 degrees as we go into tomorrow. And you are seeing the low 70s return into Santa Maria from Friday and into next week as we could potentially start to see those warmer temperatures. San Luis Obispo, we're staying in the low 70s for the next 3 days to come. You can see warming happening on your Sunday, and overall we're just going to be seeing some morning cloud cover followed by afternoon sunshine. That's a look at your forecast. More news after this.
Hey, live music fans, the San Luis Obispo County Public Health Department is offering live music fans a free ticket to a concert this week. It works like this. Fans who get their COVID vaccine at one of 3 special pop-up clinics will get a ticket to a concert at the Fremont Theater or Avila Concerts at the Cove. It's part of a partnership with Country Roots and the Fremont Theater. The ticket choice will be on a first-come, first-served basis. Just go get that vaccine. And a reminder, it's recall election night in California. We are bringing you coverage all night long. We will post election results as soon as they start coming in around 8 o'clock. That's when the polls close. Just head over to nc12hometeam.com and click on the Your Vote tab. You'll find everything you need right there. We will have more live reports coming your way at 6 o'clock. Before that, CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Be well.